It's going to be another thinking out loud as I drive to work video. Nothing to really see, just hear. Most of the time I'll be in the dark as I drive to work. And as I say in many of my videos, my YouTube channel is not a one-trick pony. I'm not out trying to be a YouTuber, influencer, or YouTube famous or anything like that, or make money off YouTube. I don't monetize my videos. I don't have a lot of subscribers anywho, and even if I did or didn't, it doesn't matter to me. I just do what the fuck I want. I have fun with making videos, and that's that. Anyhow, and especially with my videos about metaphysics, mysticism, that kind of stuff like that, the nature of reality and things like this, consciousness. My videos are made for me, my way of expressing my thoughts. Any of my videos about any of the topics is my way of expressing myself and just get my thoughts out, kind of like a video diary type thing. Anywho, and if you enjoy listening to my videos, I'm glad you do. You get something out of it. Anyhow, this video is once again it's about metaphysics and consciousness and the nature of reality. And the things that I have learned since 2016 when I started getting really serious with metaphysics and getting into these things, and then my background as an ex-Christian for almost 38 years, actually over 38 years, in studies of, conspiracies and the eschatology of Christianity and things like that, the last days and all that kind of shit. I was already well aware of mysticism, the occult, Satanism, things like that. So when I, quote, converted, went to the other side, went to the enemy side and became a traitor to the God of the Bible. The God of religionists. But anywho, I was already well aware of a lot of things. But metaphysics, I got really into studying metaphysics and manifesting aspect of it, and the manifesting aspect of the occult and of mysticism, things like that. The so-called magic, right? The mental magic is really what it is. When I began to understand that there really was nothing, as Neville Goddard would say, who is a, quote, Christian mystic. He didn't take the Bible literally. He didn't believe there was a literal Jesus Christ or anything like that. But he seen God as an archetype of consciousness, and as the Kybalion calls it, the all. Some people call it the universe. I call it the universal mind. Some people call it source. But he's seen that when he would say there's nothing but God, and as a Christian slowly coming out of the Christian mind think and religionist mind think, taking the Bible literally, it really struck me. It was one of the first things he ever said that really got to me and really made sense to me as I was listening to these Neville Goddard audio recordings on YouTube. And I had came to him from listening to James Allen and Florence Scovel Shinn. And anyhow, so I come across this guy named Neville Goddard in 2016. People put up audio recordings of him and things like this. Later, I bought the collection of his books, the 10 books. You could buy as one book. Read it cover to cover, read it cover to cover again. And, of course, listened to the audio versions of those books as well as many of his lectures. But one of the first things that I ever got from Neville Goddard just really got my attention as a religionist, as a person who's still took the Bible literally, was when he said there was nothing but God. And that was the first part of a statement that he would make a lot of times, repeat. There's nothing but God, and God is your own wonderful human imagination is the full statement he would repeat a lot of times. And the idea that there was nothing but God made sense to me because material, matter, physical seeming matter, when I began to understand from, Neville Goddard's teachings and other mystics' teachings and metaphysics teachings and the occult, is that matter is basically just physical matter, as we call it, and quantum physicists are finding this, or have been finding this out, is that physical matter is really just consciousness. As Neville Goddard and other mystics and occultic people and teachers would say, occult teachers would say, that matter is just crystallized thought, in other words, kind of like slowed down vibrationally type, you can understand this. Dream material is what I like to call it. Physical matter. Subatomic particles, atoms, molecules, it's all just fucking dream material. And that we are God, as Neville Goddard said, we are God lucid dreaming through all of us, seemingly separate individual people, individual humans on the seeming Earth planet. And that God was like meditating us. As Neville Goddard seen a vision, he said he's seen God sitting in a full lotus position, meditating, and then he shattered into millions of pieces, and those pieces were us. We are the nodes of the one mind. We are the rays of the one sun, as I like to say, or the fingers on the same hand. So anyhow, that's the oneness of all things, that everything is only one thing, and the one thing is consciousness. That's why I came to believe, instead of like 10 commandments, 10 laws of God, and all this other shit, I began, and all these other laws of nature, like gravity and things like that, whatever, I began to understand the laws of physics and all that. That's all cool stuff, but I began to understand deeper that there is only truly one law, and that one law comes from the one consciousness. It's all one thing. That consciousness is the only law. And this is what Neville meant in his mystical way of speaking, is that God, or consciousness, is the only thing that exists, period. And there doesn't need to be an actual objective physical world, material world, or a material you, a physical you. Now, in this dream world, everything seems real, right? I love the analogy of a dream, because that's what this is. And then, in our age, time, we have these video games that people can play. I'm not a gamer, but people have these video games you can play. And I like to liken our human senses and our human ego brain as our VR headset. And I don't play games, and I've never even put a VR headset on, but I understand the concept. So that's what it is. You see, or a scuba gas mask and the oxygen stuff a scuba diver would use, right? So we can enjoy and be immersed in this world and experience it. The taste, the touch, the feel, the taste, the touch, the smell, the hearing, these things, and the human ego brain, or what we call the lower mind. And there's nothing wrong with your human ego. That's part of your VR headset, or scuba mask and oxygen. That's how you experience this world. And people go out of this world when they have out-of-body experiences or near-death experiences even. And it's been well documented, so many out-of-body experiences. It's been well documented. People go out of their body and can know things that are going on in another room in a lab, or because a lot of these out-of-body experiences have been done in laboratory settings. And even scientists themselves have learned how to go out of their body. You find them on YouTube. Thomas Campbell, a nuclear physicist. You've got the Italian physicist Fagan. You have Vadim Zeland, who wrote the book Reality Transurfing. And Tom Campbell, of course, wrote his book My Theory of Everything, or My Big Toe. These were scientists who basically were atheists who found out that and they were all nuclear physicists, by the way. They all found out you can go out of your body. So they weren't. It's ironic they were wanting to study. They got in those fields of science because they wanted to study the nature of reality and matter and things like that at the quantum level, and what really makes things tick in this world, and physical things and all this, the material physical world. And they began to find out that it's really just dream material, as I like to call it. So, now I have found that not only have I found that is consistently true, I have found that some things that I no longer have to do or believe, and not just that the Bible's literal or any things. I found that this is a dream world. It is malleable, and it is subjective to the only one true objective truth, which is consciousness, mind, source, universe, the all, God, whatever you want to call it. And I have found that we no longer have to force anything in this life, or fight anything, or figure anything out. Instead, all we have to do is flow, choose what we want. Neville Goddard used to say desire is divine. And I add to that my saying, desire is divine, is your higher mind telling you what you can have or experience, whatever you desire. Whether it's be able to get to a concert that you just don't think you're going to be able to get the tickets for, or a trip to see family, or find the love of your life, or the better job, or the better vehicle, or the better health, or whatever. Desire is divine. It's your higher mind telling your lower mind, your human ego self, through desire, what you can have or experience. If you'll just accept it to be true and allow it to manifest, allow it to flow into your life. You don't have to figure out how for it to come. You don't have to fight anything, and you just let it flow. I talk about how the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu, that's Chinese mysticism, teaches the concept of Wu Wei, which means it's action, but it means effortless action, or just a flow, as in Hermetic mysticism calls it. A flow. You just flow. It's effortless action. You'll still take action, but you don't have to plan it out. You don't have to figure it out. You don't have to force it out. Well, I found that you don't have to fight anybody. You don't have to fight any situations. You don't have to force things. You don't have to figure anything out. All you have to do is flow. Well, anything that's going on in your life that you don't like at the moment, right? Situation, whatever. You say, well, that's not what I choose. I choose, whatever, fill in the blank. I choose this better job, or a better situation with this person, or better health, or whatever. I don't choose that as my reality. Yes, all potential realities are there. They're potential realities. Now, I'm not one of those that believes in a multiverse. I don't want to get into all this, but I don't believe in a multiverse. I don't believe it's even needed. There's multiple versions of you simultaneously living, is what people teach. Multiple realities all at once of you, versions of you. I don't believe all that. I don't believe it needs to be. I believe that there's potentials of you, and that's all that matters. I'm not going to argue it either way, because I can't prove it, nor can anybody else prove the multiverse shit. I do believe there are absolute potentials. You can be a person in prison. You can be a person who's, different things, a professional musician or whatever, right? Or just a person who's a school teacher, or a person who's a drug addict. You can be all these things, these potentials, okay? These different potentials of you, of the character you're playing. Now, if you're a short person or whatever, I'm not saying that you're going to be, there's a potential for you to be the tallest person in the world World Guinness Records, nor would it mean that you'll be a professional basketball player. And yes, I know there's been short basketball players. My point being is that there are potentials with the human character, the human avatar that you are. Your human ego and your human character is you, but it's not the true essence of you. It's like if you pointed at a screen on a video game and you're playing a video game and telling someone that character, that's me. It's an extension of you. Your human self is an extension of your higher self. Okay? So your human mind, your human ego mind, your lower mind, your earth mind is an personality, human ego personality is an extension of your higher consciousness, your fuller consciousness. Okay? So you're playing a video game, and the human person that you are right now is your avatar. And you can change. You can change things no matter what is going on in your physical reality right now. You simply change by, if you desire something, that's your higher mind telling you can have it. Because in understanding that all is one, no duality, no separation, if you desire a thing, that means you also have it. You can never desire a thing and not have it at the same time. It's like temperature is one thing, hot and cold. Distance is the same thing. Far and near. Weight is the same thing, heavy and light, and all the different gradations or degrees in between. Okay? So everything is one thing. And all you are is God Almighty experiencing yourself. You are Jesus Christ, okay? You are God flesh. You are God in the flesh. In this, you are God dreaming. You are the source playing a game of experiencing, and all human beings are nodes of the one mind. Experiencer nodes, I call it, tentacles. And every node has its own character and its own potentials, but there's many potentials. You get to choose. You can choose from the most down and depressing things that come to your mind, and you can choose the highest desires, the most awesome dreams that you have. It's up to you to choose what is true for you. You can't allow what's going on right now, or the outer world, or the news, or the country you live in, or anything like that, tell you can't have what you desire. And I've heard it one time used as an example, just for those who want to be in the the peanut gallery going, yeah, but what about? Is someone say, well, can I be, this was actually in a conversation I've seen about manifesting on YouTube. And I think it was Wayne Dyer. I can't remember. But I think he said that there was somebody interviewing him, I think it was Wayne Dyer. But he said, a guy had asked him, the interviewer had asked him, said, well, does that mean I can be a professional NFL player and football player? And he says, do you want to be? And the guy goes, not really. He's just like football. He says, not really. He said, there you go. So you have to desire it, and it's a true desire. By the way, you don't have to be particular or detailed about your desire. Sometimes desires come and you'll have absolute details, or you'll have partial details. Okay? My desire for a dream wife and a dream blissful marriage, my wife had to have certain physical attributes and psychological or personality attributes about her, right? One of them I always talk about, she had to be brunette, okay? There's certain things that were important to me. Just a few minor things, but they were important to me. As far as her looks, aesthetics, her personality traits, things like that, because as we know, personality is most important. You can have the most handsome or pretty woman or handsome man, and, personality traits ain't right. You can have the right personality traits, they still got to have some sort of physical attraction to you, okay? So, whatever's important to you. Like a vehicle, maybe you just want a good running vehicle. Maybe you want a pick-em-up truck. Maybe you want a red sports car. Maybe you want a motorcycle. Hey, maybe you want a boat. I mean, whatever. Sometimes you may be particular about what it is, what color, what model, make, model, and other times it could be just something general. You just want a good running vehicle. I just need a van. I don't care, what color it is. I just want a good van or something like that, right? So it just depends. It depends on you and each desire. Some desires you're going to have some details for. Some you're going to have a lot of details. It seems like most desires are more general. And it's always better, even with details, to focus on the general. Keep the details in your mind, but focus on the general. Like, I'll give you an example. I had certain details, not a lot of details, but certain details I'd written down that I wanted in a wife, right? Personality traits, looks, things like that. There weren't a whole lot. There's less than a dozen. But they were important to me, right? But I kept it general, following Neville Goddard and some other people's advice on YouTube, is I kept it general. So I just want to be blissfully married. I've had divorces and long-term relationships when we weren't like married, but we were in a marital relationship, and they'd fall apart. And I wasn't right for them. They weren't right for me. I wanted to be blissfully and happily married. Okay. And I use that word blissfully because I heard that on a YouTube video, and I like that idea. And so I kept it general. Yeah, I knew I wanted brunette, blah, blah, blah. I've been with blondes and things like that, but I wanted brunette. Sorry, that's just one of my things, okay? Some guys want a wife that has big tits, okay? But, it depends, right? So anyhow, big butt or whatever, and that's fine. So anyhow, I kept it, I went back to general. It's like the thing, you have particular things you want in a vehicle, right? You want this vehicle. You don't know how you can afford it, but you want to just have to do, and you're really particular. But always go back to the why. It'll help you. Is you go back to why do you want that vehicle? It's the feeling. You're always after the feeling of what you think that thing or experience will give you, right? Because we are experiencer nodes. We're not here to get stuff or to get lovers and to get good health and all these type of things. We're not here to make trips across the world if that's something you want to do, right? We're not here for those things. We're here for the experiences, period. We're experiencer nodes. And by the way, source, God, the all, the universe, universal mind, all experience is relevant. It doesn't matter if you end up becoming a person who's on, a quadriplegic in a hospital, or someone doing life in prison. All experience, or you just want to be depressed, or you want to be a drug addict, alcoholic the rest of your life, be a miserable person. All experience is relevant, so you get to choose. Because as Neville Goddard taught, we all only have one freedom. Everything else is an illusion. And that freedom is to choose what is true for you. Simply choose. If you desire something, accept it immediately. Just accept that it's a fact. You don't have to know all the details. You don't have to know how it's going to happen. Now, what I really want to get across, and I've done this in other videos too, is I just really want to get across the fact that you don't have to fight for anything. You don't have to force anything. Always see everything. And a lot of the stuff I'm saying has already been taught by numerous teachers in the past before there was ever an internet, in books, in audio recordings, which are now on the internet, and books that are still being printed. And there's people that have learned on YouTube now and on the internet. And people that go around and speak on these topics about manifesting, things like that. I'm not saying anything new. I'm just saying I have found this to be true in my own life. And I'm just documenting my thoughts in these videos about this. Is that I have found that I don't have to force anything. I have found that I can find the most worst, horrible situations, dumb situations, uncomfortable situations is always, I always alchemize it. There's your alchemy, okay, in the occult, in mysticism, the philosopher's stone, okay. You alchemize that chemical. You mix and you say, it's not flipping thoughts. People talk about flipping thoughts. It's not flipping thoughts. It's just as simple a way of perception of realizing that nothing's out to destroy you or hurt you. That is something that I had to learn. Nothing's out there to get you. Seemingly, there may be enemies at work or on your street or in your own family. There may be, seemingly diseases and illnesses or dangers, bad economic times with you personally or in the society, in the economy, whatever. You always see things as working out good for you. That's something I have found to be so true. Something that I have had to learn the hard way was, in the whole manifesting thing, is don't try to force anything and don't goddamn settle. I found that I had to learn that the hard way in more than one lesson until I finally got it. Was when it came to a relationship before I met my wonderful wife. Is I had to realize I don't have to settle. I don't have to accept anything that I don't want to be true, and I don't have to force anything. One thing that I have learned, just in general, but it is in the manifesting community talks a lot about it, is one thing that I have learned backing in here at work space. One thing I have learned is not to force anything. Don't force anything in life. Co-worker's got his headlights in my face here. You don't have to, he turned them off. You don't have to force anything in life. You don't have to figure anything out. It seems like you're being irresponsible. It seems like you're being lazy. You're not being lazy. You've already made your choice. Oh, wow. I got a video of this. I wonder what this is. I'm going to stop it here. Okay, I'm back. Some sort of space debris or something that was, looks like a UFO or comet or something. Space debris. I videoed that. I'll probably put that up on YouTube at some point. But anyhow, I discovered you don't have to. I've got videos about this before, but that I've already made before, I should say, on YouTube. But you don't have to fight. You don't have to force anything. You don't have to fight anything in life anymore. You don't have to fight with people. And I'm talking about even in your head. You don't have to argue with people. You know how we all do the little arguing in our head in the shower type thing or whatever. You don't have to do any of that anymore. Always see everything is working out for you. Always in your favor. And you don't have to, life is not out to get you. There's no struggle of good versus evil. I've talked about this in my videos and explained that. Excuse the noise. I gotta get my stuff out here. My bag for work. And so yeah, life is, I found that life, just allow things to happen. And if you say, well, I've been trying to do manifesting, well, you manifest all the time automatically anyway. It's a lucid dream. You're dreaming what your reality is. And they talk about how perception creates your reality or chooses your reality, because you choose it by what you choose to accept as true for you. That's choosing. That's what accepting, and Neville talked about accepting. That's what he meant. And he talked about, he's famous for his book, Feel It Real, and his book, Feeling Is a Secret, and he would talk about feeling it real and things like this. Capture the feeling. He would say all these phrases and stuff in his lectures and write those phrases in his writings and stuff. Is what he meant was accepting, just accepting relief that it's a done deal. And if it hasn't seemingly manifested yet, it's probably because you're on what he called the bridge of incidents, because we do experience time here. Just like we experience temperature and we experience sorrow and, we experience, sadness at times here. We experience pain at times. We experience bitter food, bad tasting food for that matter. We experience all those things. Well, we experience time as well. And so there is time between things, but it's true the minute you accept it as true, even if it's something that takes, a few weeks to a few months to a few years to manifest, depending on what the topic is, right? What it is. But once you just accept that it's done, when I accepted I was happily married and blissfully married and just stopped worrying about it, stopped looking for anybody, stopped worrying, trying to force it with anybody, didn't, I said I'm no longer going to accept or tolerate. I had learned the hard way to quit uh, uh, settling, trying to force things with relationships, things like this, try to, figure it out, all this kind of shit. I realized I ain't got to do that. Matter of fact, if you don't want to have a conversation with somebody, a coworker, a boss, even a spouse, a conversation you want to have, you don't have to. You can simply say that the problem is the solution is already done. It's a fact. Because that's what you desire anyway. You're desiring something because you're wanting the experience. So you want to experience a better relationship with a coworker, a relative, a friend, a neighbor on the street, your spouse, whatever. Just simply accept. Now, maybe that quote bridge of incidents, as Neville's term would be, maybe that bridge of incidents might be you actually have that conversation. But you'll find if there is one, usually it'll be brought up, right? And it'll be a good conversation. It'll always end up good. Even if it seems like an argument or a disagreement at the time, it will always end up good for you. Always. And the minute that you accept your desire as a fact and feel like it's already done and feel the relief, anything that you have to do in the meantime, it just allow it to happen. But I've learned to just not to effort anything in life anymore. When I catch myself trying to force something, right? I guess like when you're learning judo or aikido, these throwing arts and things like that, martial arts, it's kind of like that. When you have to force things, it's kind of like the whole fart thing. I mean, if you have to fart, you have to force the fart. It's probably going to turn out to be a shart. Turn out to be shit. And when you force things, as a general rule, even if you do force things, do you want to go through and you get success? Do you want to have to do that with everything in life? No, because you can't. But you can't force everything. So anyhow, I have just found that you have to force anything. You have to figure anything out. And that no matter what's going on at the moment, just always say, this is working out good for me. I don't know how, but this is always going to end up good for me. I have found that life is just, that's how life is. I've had to learn that. In my later 50s, I have come to just realize that we're here to experience. And if we choose that our experience is good and fun, it will be. I'm not saying you're not going to have sad times where, loss of a loved one or loss of a pet or, whatever. I'm not saying that you won't have these experiences. But even as the Kybana teaches, even so-called negative or down or sad experiences or bad experiences will be lessened. There will actually be, the impact won't be as bad. I always see that everything is working out for you. Never force anything. You feel like you got to force it or figure it out, drop it. I've learned that. When I catch myself stressing about how I'm going to do something, how I pay a bill, or how I'm going to get something done, or, whatever, I'm going to find this thing that I need to buy or pay for or whatever, or get or whatever, anything, or a situation or problem I have, whatever, even at work or anything like that, I just found, no, it's done. I just accept that it's done. Feel the relief, don't feel the stress, and I don't force anything. And things just seemingly work out. And sometimes they seemingly it's almost like you have quantum leaped, as people talk about. And it's just like, boom, it's just no longer a problem anymore. It's like never happened. So it depends on what it is. But yeah, I have found you have to force anything or figure anything out. All right, I'm going to end it here. And I've made my notes. It's not anything new that I haven't said in other videos. It's just that I like to think about these stuff. It's fun to me, and I like to remind myself of it every day, how life is meant to be experienced, and you just choose experiences. You can choose, well, to be bad or hard, or I gotta do this or whatever. And let me tell you, I crash out just like every other human being. I, have my moments, and then I forgive myself, if you will. The next minute, or the next hour, or the next day, by the next day, I forgive myself of any so-called negative thinking that I've had. I let it all go and say, it's not true. It still worked out for me. Anything I'm stressed about, anything I've had, a bad conversation, argument, whatever, it doesn't exist anymore. Everything's working out just fine for me. You don't have to drag your yesterday into today. And yes, we experience time here. A lot of people say there's no time, there's only eternal now. And they're totally right, because everything's only one thing. Time is just one thing, now. There's only now. Only now. But here in this world, we experience yesterdays and tomorrows. Well, we have tomorrows coming, right? Supposedly. Well, we have past, present, future is what I'm saying. But there's only the eternal present, the eternal now. So you don't have to worry about tomorrow or future and even the next moment, next minute. And you don't have to stress about anything from yesterday. Don't drag any negative thing from the last 5 minutes. Immediately forgive yourself. Immediately forgive a situation, forgive people, however, whatever need to work. Don't stress about it, because you are the God of your world, and you get to decide what is true for you. Nobody else does, and no outer experiences do, or outer situations. All right, I'm going to end it here.